So you mentioned communication. So some of my background is in communication training and such. And what I've researched and noticed is that you could say a one word in a meeting, which now creates a stress response in everybody. And you already alluded to is that are people actually being honest and open during the actual meeting, or do they save that to do gossip afterwards? And that communication or the lack thereof, or it can create toxicity, right?
Absolutely.
How do you, I don't want to say encourage, but how do you create a culture where communication is safe to give feedback?
That's hard, but it's vital. The first thing is that does kind of come from the top. That if I'm the boss, if I'm the CEO, if I'm the president, and I say we have open communication here, and you come to me and tell me something that I don't want to hear, and I react inappropriately, you can say that you have open communication all you want, but when you react that way, it teaches people not to bring you bad news, not to challenge your ideas, and that's not healthy. I think there are some simple techniques, though. You look at a staff meeting. You got 7 or 8 or 10 people around a table. I think you can be very intentional in making sure that you're drawing people into the conversation. So when people are sitting there and they're shaking their head yes, one of the very simple things you can do is pick somebody across the room and say, hey Jack, I see you're saying yes to me, but I'm sensing that maybe there's something you'd like to say. And invite that person. Give that person active permission to speak. Right. Give that person active permission to present a differing viewpoint. You can do other simple things. You can assign somebody in the room. Your job in this meeting is to tell us what's wrong with the ideas we're coming up with. That's your job. And you need to do that. And the idea of rotating that is good, because that way no person in the group, no person on the team becomes that person that's always finding the problem, right? Because you don't want to be that person.
Yeah, no, I love the idea. It used to be criticism, right? And then we call it feedback.
Absolutely.
And now we're trying to make it as safe a word as possible so people don't get offended. Yet in reality, a leader does want to know what's going on, right? They want the truth, however we want to define that. And I like the word you said, inviting them to giving them permission, right? But it's a safe environment where you're not getting offended and that you're not immediately reacting, because now maybe you value an open line of communication. With communication, I think being a little bit less face-to-face and more digital and such, is there anything that you're seeing from a leadership standpoint where either how to use technology in communication, or do you try to get back to basics of face-to-face?
I don't think there is, nor will there ever be, a substitute for face-to-face conversation. Now, you're absolutely right. We work in diffuse, distributed ways. We're not together all the time. My hair's gray, but I'm not that old. I get it. But there's not a substitute for face-to-face communication, because with face-to-face communication, you see body language, you have the sensory perceptions that you miss in email. Digital communication is okay for distribution of factual information, but an email argument or an email disagreement or an email debate is the worst idea possible. It's the worst idea possible because you can't get the context, you can't get the nuance, you can't do that, and it's kind of cowardly too. People will write things in an email or on a Facebook post or pick your social media platform. They'll write things that they would never say to you in person, and that's not healthy. I want to say one more thing about this. It's about conflict and your organization's attitude towards conflict. So if you do training or you do consulting, you go out to an organization and they'll give you, these are the topics we'd like for you to talk to we'd like for you to train and work with our staff on. And lots of times you'll see conflict resolution. Wrong question. The problem with conflict in most organizations isn't that there's too much, it's that it's the wrong kind of conflict and there's not enough conflict. Conflict around ideas is healthy and vital to organizational growth and sustainability. Conflict of ideas fuels creativity and innovation. That's why you want a safe zone. You don't want a safe zone because you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. You want a safe zone where it's okay to have differing ideas. Conflict around who went to lunch longest, who got the closest parking spot, who has the corner office, who talks to who too much. That's bad conflict.
Sure.
Most organizations don't have enough healthy conflict. They don't challenge each other's ideas enough. That's what you want a safe zone for.